Soup! Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. I know what you're thinking, I'm thinking too. We don't have to pretend about this. I know, you know, and I know what I know that you know that I know. We all miss Mary. Where is Mary? Why is there Mary in videos, Morrow? Honestly, it's literally just the puppies. The plan was to have the puppies be adopted by friends of friends and people they trust. Mary and her family fell in love with two of the three puppies, so now they have two extra puppies to take care of. But the thing is, the only person that has the schedule that works out with taking care of the puppies the most is Mary. So Mary is officially a puppy warden. She is now a Beastmaster Ranger, not a druid anymore. Actually, no, she is in fact an IRL druid. And as adorable as they are, I miss Mary being on videos and just hanging out and doing stuff together. So at some point, I'm gonna beg her politely to try to leave some time for dear old Morrow so we can do some stuff together and cover maybe some more RPG horror stories like the ones we have for today. Why is everything woke? The title may be a bit misleading, but it would make sense later. I used to live in the United States, but due to some problems, I lost my job and I had to return to Mexico with my family. It wasn't long before I started to miss playing D&D and Warhammer 40k, so I tried to find a game store where I lived. My expectations were very low since in the part of Mexico where I lived, these type of games are not at all popular. But against all odds, I managed to find a small game store, and you would think this is a good sign, and I managed to find people who would like to play, right? Well, not exactly. The people in the store only play Magic, and I don't deny that Magic is fun and all, but I also want to play other games. But nobody there wants to play D&D or Warhammer 40k, and I get it. Hobbies can be expensive and time-consuming. I was told that there was another person who liked to play war games, had miniatures, but my god, I wish it had been someone else. When I tried to talk to him and wanted to propose to play a Warhammer 40k kill team, he refused because, in his words, Games Workshop has gone woke because of the inclusion of femme custodies ruin all the lore. The voice that I'm giving to the character is not like an opinion or agreement or anything at all. I'm just going with the outrage voice. I'm going with the vibe. The guy sounds like somebody that would talk like this at people, talk about how things are woke and just kind of roll with it. I'm performing for now. It's a performance for the video. Okay, we could try something else. How about Trench Crusade? It's a new game where we can both learn and use our miniatures as a pro. I don't want to play that game either. They could add some woke nonsense, and I don't want to be part of that. I just stepped aside and continued to play Magic and ignored him. So basically this guy is going to be a no play because this is woke and that is woke. I just stepped aside and continued to play Magic and ignore him, while he started ranting about how the woke mind virus is ruining the entertainment industry. It's safe to say that I'm never going to play with him ever again. Luckily, I did manage to convince my brother to play Trench Crusade and Warhammer Kill Team with me, so that's a win in my book. I just hope that in the future I can find more people to play with, and hopefully they won't be like that guy. Sir, this is just me ranting, but I was just frustrated and needed to get this out of my chest. I'm glad you and your brother could play something, and you could always just look online for like Roll20 and stuff. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that are playing these current games, and it might be a little bit maybe cheaper to play it online. I don't know, honestly. I have no idea. I don't know if you can play Trench Crusade or the Kill Team online, but there might be some way to do it. Potentially, maybe somebody's hosting like a game of it on their Foundry server or Roll20, or there gotta be other online systems you can play with, so you can play with people maybe outside of the general area, maybe in the general area, some people in the US, you know, people that match your time zone. On the topic of woke, gotta be honest, I'm not gonna be able to say too much about it. The only thing I can really say about this guy is if he is spending more time saying this is woke, that is woke, instead of, you know, playing something he enjoys, he's just gonna spend a lot of time saying things that woke this and woke that. Or we talk about his woke mind virus that is destroying everything. I guess you could say everything could be considered woke if it's the new thing, right? When the word woke comes in, I feel like the meaning kind of changes left to right and center, depending on who you ask. Everybody has their own definition on what is considered woke. Some people consider changing things as woke. Other people consider including, I guess, women and minorities in something as woke. It's never fully defined. Genuinely never fully defined. I feel like you can just point at anything and say, he is woke. You can point at me and say, Morrow is woke. He's awake right now. See, his eyes are blinking. His eyes aren't aren't closed. He's awake. He's lucid. I'm assuming he is talking about like the fact that things are changing over time, and Games Workshop is adding things or adding new content. That could be a little bit controversial, like female custodies and stuff like that. I get that canonically in lore it's always been male custodies, but at the end of the day, if you just try to hunt down everything that's woke or not, just to label it as woke or not, I feel like it'd just be really exhausting. If you look at everything through the woke lens, and like the definition of woke changes from person to person, it's really difficult to stop and just, I don't know, enjoy something that exists already. Some people considered 5th edition in 2014 to be not woke. I think the word was SJW or something. I believe so. I don't know. Whether you engage in a social conversation about whether things are woke or not, I think the best thing to really do is just to really consider to yourself, am I enjoying it? Do I like the system? Is there a way I can play it with my friends, or the way everybody else can enjoy? Can we keep things that we like and maybe even change or remove things we don't like? I mean, at the end of the day with TTRPGs, the flexibility of bending the rules and changing things out how you want it to be is, I mean, I feel like that's the biggest freedom you have. At the end of the day, I feel like it'd just be more exhausting to look at things that are woke just to call them as woke, because definition of woke changes from person to person. I feel like it'd just be much easier just to focus on playing something you like and playing something you enjoy. Let's say, for example, if you don't like any of the new 5th edition, whether it's 2014 or 2024 for D&D, no problem. Older editions exist. There's 3.5, there's 4. I'm pretty sure people don't really play 4 much, but there's 3.5. There's also other games you can play like Pathfinder 1st edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition. There's games like Call of Cthulhu, there's games like GURPS. There's so many other systems and so many things you can play that could be genuinely enjoyable, instead of playing things that you consider not to your taste or not to your liking, or you don't like how things have changed so much. Yeah, things gonna change over time, and yeah, D&D is gonna be changing over time as it goes from 5th edition 2014 to 5th edition 2024. I voice my opinion about backgrounds and how they determine your ability scores and stuff like that, and I don't like that. So I'm personally not touching 5th edition 2024 with a 10-foot pole, because a bunch of stuff in there I'm just not vibing with. I like what I got going on with my friends, or what we play, and everybody's enjoying themselves and having fun and having a good time, and we're just playing what we like. So in a weird entertainment social climate, or whatever you would like to call it, where this is woke and that is woke, I just hope you find something that you enjoy for yourself and you can have fun with it, whether by yourself or with friends. If you find something that you don't like to interact with, just don't engage, move on to something you like, and go from there. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. Oath of Vengeance run amok. So not too horrific of a story, but it is leading me and possibly others to leave the group. I joined an in-person D&D game back in March 2024. I was a very experienced player. I've been a DM for years. Most of the other players were newish, with 1 or 2 people with little under the belt. The DM had some experience with his buddies growing up, but had never played in someone else's campaign, I believe, and never played an official adventure. He's also a big Critical Role fan, to the point of posters, merch, etc. I mention all this to let you, dear reader, know that he, the DM, may have a somewhat skewed idea of D&D 5e. Is he one of those people that DMs and expects the players to be like the cast of Critical Role and to think themselves like, I am in the embodiment of Matt Mercer, when they could just, just be a regular DM? I don't know, but this intro is interesting. I am hooked. I need to know more. We didn't have a real session 0, just a couple of posts in Discord. I should have run then, and that's a classic red flag, right? No session 0. We all make characters, 6 people. We had a druid, fighter, sorcerer, ranger, later replaced by a bard, paladin, and me, a wizard. So the paladin is a newbie, knew some D&D from video games like Baldur's Gate 3, but no actual experience playing. This is important to remember for later on in the story. He goes Oath of Vengeance. This dude is one of those folks that always seems to be somewhat angry about something. Job, the world, whatever. First session goes well. DM impressed me, to be honest. His plot and story were, honestly, pretty crap. But you said he impressed you, huh? We're all told to go get this MacGuffin that is just a small chest that expels the smoke from the D&D movie. Yes, he was stealing the plot from D&D movie for this. But he was very good at role-playing, immersion, rules, knowledge. So I'm more like, yeah, I can give it a shot. His lore knowledge was pretty low, but it was kind of homebrew, so that's fine. Just annoying. Example, he's been using red wizards as the big bars, BBGs, yet makes them all women, like in the movie, and calls them red witches. Asked if he meant the red wizards, the ones from Thay. He was like, yeah, but they're women, so they're witches. Dude, this isn't Harry Potter. Wizard is gender neutral here. So, no biggie. The problem is the paladin. He has decided that Oath of Vengeance means anything goes for even the slightest transgression. He regularly insists on torturing, or attempting to torture enemies. And this isn't just hey, I torture them, make a roll, works, doesn't work. He wants to describe what he does, breaking hands, fingers, etc. Now this makes me kinda uncomfortable. I really am not looking forward to torture reenactment in my fantasy RPG. I want classic good guys saving people, fighting evil stuff, which is what I had been led to believe the campaign was. And this is, dear viewer, is why you do session 0. So any expectations, the do's and don'ts, the limits and stuff, the general theme of the campaign, that can be discussed and agreed together, or at least the players know what's going on and they can have an option to dip out in case it doesn't fit their maybe wants and desires and things like that, right? If the entire campaign was gonna be basically just torture porn, then yeah, probably most people would not want to be sticking around for that because it's just not that interesting in that sort of thing. Everybody has their limits and do's and don'ts. So session zeros are pretty important for this specific reason. The paladin spends the next 2 sessions, and every time we capture someone, which he insists on all the time, bitching about my character being no fun because he won't endorse torture of captives. I explained to him that my character is very good aligned and wouldn't support anything like that. He does this in character, but he also does it out of character. No correlation of behavior, no comments at all from the DM. The paladin player is one of those folks who also constantly talks smack to some people for whatever reason. Like I'm older than a lot of the other players, brings that up all the time. Another player is bald. Every time someone mentions hair, he has to make a smart-ass comment about how the player wouldn't know, that sort of thing. He also constantly has to be the center of attention. Whether someone else has something going on, he's always trying to insert himself into the situation. If you want to be a center of attention, you may want to do it in a more pleasant way because this is a great way just to make people look at you as just some asshole. Yeah, I get it, haha funny, like you said the joke like, 13 sessions ago. Can we move on? Do you have any other material? Why is trash talking the whole thing with this guy? Can he have something like reasonable to say? He probably thinks like, oh, I'm being the coolest guy here and everybody's like, picking up my quips and everything. No, they're not. They're not interested in that sort of thing. I feel like what would have benefited this situation is just talking out loud and letting the DM know, hey, the paladin guy is being kind of a dick. Maybe talk to him. Maybe stop him. I don't know. Maybe everybody else should just say, hey, paladin, you being kind of a dick. Maybe stop. Maybe, pointing it out might actually get him to change his behavior. I don't know. So I like most of the folks in the group, so despite my misgivings, I stay. I figure the DM just needs some more experience, and maybe the pally can chill eventually. Meanwhile, as we get to 5th level, we have received less than 200 gold per person for the entire campaign, and no magic items. Kind of frustrating when you play a wizard since I can't copy spells if I have no money. Cut to last session, the sorcerer in our group is Divine Soul. Has this kind of cool story going on about whether they can redeem themselves for past horrific action. He'd been told to keep an eye out for a certain symbol, and if he sees it, to follow it. He sees it, we follow. 3 city guards were chasing a fugitive. They had him trapped in a tree, and we're trying to talk him down. Figuring this is a roleplay scene for the sorcerer, most of us take a back seat and let him take the lead, since it's his whole thing. But oh, not our pally. No sir. He's gone a whole 10 to 15 minutes without doing stuff. Guess what else we did this session? You said capture and interrogate an enemy, you win the prize, cause it's all we ever do. This is unacceptable for him. So Pally says to the DM, hey, can I move around so I can line these guys up? Sure, says the DM. He then uses his breath weapon on them. These guards had committed no violence, did not even have weapons drawn. Our sorcerer had passed some inside checks and knew they weren't chasing the fugitive legitimately. It was a guard abusing their authority to lock up a rival for a woman's love. Kinda neat. But our sorcerer had not communicated this to the rest of us, who were content to be his backup and let him do his thing. So 3 guards, who as far as the rest of us know have done nothing wrong and are pursuing their rightful duty. Does the paladin not know they can just talk out of character or just, confine with players, be like, hey, what do we do? Should we get it ready or should we just chill and hang back? I mean, like, if you're a new guy, right? Maybe he's not a new guy, I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's the main character because he's been fed like, oh, this is D&D, you get to be the main character, the main champion and stuff. And maybe they picked up some kind of crappy TikTok or YouTube short from there, and that's what they're basing their character onto. I don't know where they get their inspiration from. I'm just spitballing at this point. But like either way, this is completely unnecessary, unwarranted, and like they could have just talked to the other players, be like, hey guys, what do we do in this situation? Do we attack them or do we wait? Communication would have solved so many things, but you know what? Some people don't communicate, and this is why we have RPG horror stories. As soon as the pally announces his attack, some chaos is at the table. I inform him he's 2 seconds away from me attacking him. He demands to know why. I reply, because you are attempting to murder 3 officers of the law who have taken no offensive action against anyone else, and my character is strongly good aligned. He replies, vengeance, pallies don't have to be good. Agreed. They could do whatever they want in pursuit of justice. I point out the guard had done nothing wrong as far as any of us knew. So how was this related to him making a vengeance oath because a dragon had killed his family? He said it didn't have to be. Well, you make an argument about vengeance paladins could do whatever they want regardless of good or bad. But like, these guys didn't anything wrong. Well, it doesn't matter. I could just do what I want. Taking an oath as a paladin is not means I could do whatever I want and be feeling righteous to do so. This isn't even oath of vengeance. This is oath of stupid. This is oath of not even lawful stupid. This is oath of stupid. Just straight up dumb. You took an oath to be an idiot and play an idiot character who could do whatever they want. A selfish stupid. This is oath of selfish stupid. You know what? I'm writing a new homebrew. Oath of selfish stupid. Just so we can make it official. By the way, that's a joke. Please don't make an oath of selfish stupid and spread it to the internet. I'll be very mad. Session ended shortly after. DM said nothing about the Pally's action. I'm a bit surprised here, as I'd be having a convo with the Pally in my campaign about possible Oathbreaker status if they keep harming innocent people who have nothing to do with the oath in any way whatsoever. I decide I'm kinda done. I wanted to be a hero, not indulge the Pally in his torture, violence, look at me antics. Later, at a one-shot, a player is running. The argument comes up again. The Pally again quotes the player handbook tenet about any means necessary and not needing to be good. Now, I've been kind of pulling my super nerdy lore heavy punches with him and the DM, but I had enough at this point after 6 months of this crap. So I go off, cite multiple quotes from the player handbook about all Pallies fighting evil, quotes from the class about being neutral or lawful neutral. Now those are not the kind of let me murder some guard for fun type of people. Quotes comparing the class to Batman. They don't care. The DM tells me it's up to the player. I remind him he's the DM, and if a Pally is an Oathbreaker, that's his call. Crickets. So long story short, if you spot red flags early and your DM lets them go, you may want to jump ship and find a better game. Which, silver lining, I did. Me and a couple people from the prior group have started our own thing that's going great, and torture free. Thanks for reading my rant, everyone. You know, I'm kind of surprised that with a new player, or I guess a new player, the DM is not even saying anything at all. Like, even like question like, hey, are you sure you want to be doing this kind of thing? Or what? I mean, yes, this is as one kind of tenet, like, you know, it's up to the player what to do with the character. That's understandable. But if what one player is doing with their character is ruining the fun for everybody, and everybody has to turn the game into like a weird torture porn simulator instead of playing a game, then yeah, I feel like that's kind of a disruption for the game and something the DM needs to go in and get it addressed. I think the biggest thing that could have helped here is maybe communication, assuming there was no communication. Assuming it was just expected for the DM to read the room and kind of just act. If there was, however, communication in the situation, then it's fully up to the DM for not reining the player in, because one player is literally ruining the fun for everybody, making the whole game about themselves, and the DM not stepping in to be like, hey, don't do that, don't be a jerk, don't be a dick, you know, reeling the player in when they need to. At times, DMs just need to just pull the reins in, whether it be a player or some sort of situation or something, anything. If something's going on that's ruining the fun for everybody, the DM needs to step in and do something about it, address it, say do's and don'ts. Honestly, this could have been fixed with session 0. Honestly, I feel like this entire situation could have been avoided with session 0. If there's anything I missed out, feel free to let me know down in the comments below, because maybe there's some context I missed out a little bit. I've been going for a little bit long. It's like 4 in the morning. I've been recording a couple of videos back to back, so maybe it's something I missed. Either way, these are my thoughts of a silly little tiefling on the internet. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.